no problem. I
So,
think I have bad lighting. I will be random, so you're just gonna have to roll with me for a moment. I just
we'll
am. I don't mean it.
we'll
There.
make it happen.
Better.
We'll roll with it.
Okay.
I mean, that's the creative life, right? Just
Right?
you set where you
Yeah.
want to go, stuff happens, and you just keep going and you just make it happen one way or the other.
Yeah. Exactly. I just realized I had like half shade. Okay. The sun's going down. Let's do
Yeah,
this.
got to get those studio lights set up. Introduced us.
Okay. Oh,
Shout
you
out,
stopped.
shout out to Brian. I think that
Yeah,
he
hi Brian.
met you on the set for Fear the Walking Dead. That's where you guys met.
Yes.
So are
Yes.
you based in Austin, or where are you
Yes.
based?
He was with me. I'm based outside of Austin, north of Austin. So yeah, it was close. It wasn't. I can't give. That's crazy to me. Are you there?
It did freeze. Can you say that again?
Okay. So, yeah, I was just saying there were people that drove up from San Antonio just to be a
Yes.
part of it and staying at hotels
Hmm.
for very little money, if any, just to be background.
Yeah.
Because that's what we were doing. Yeah. I had no idea. Here's the funny, okay, I do have a funny story
Yeah.
because I'm an actor and I don't care what the job is and I'm poor. So it was offering money. I put myself up for anything and everything and I signed up for at casting agencies for background people
Hmm.
because I didn't care. So they sent me a thing for like it was close to $100 a day or
Hmm.
for the day. I'm like, sure, what the hell? I thought it was an indie film and I don't watch that show. So they're like, and I was like, why are they being so secretive? I've never heard of this show before because they weren't telling you anything. And I'm like, what
Hmm.
the hell? It's just an indie film. So it's like crack of dawn in the morning. I'm driving up in the middle of nowhere, no lights, anything. And it told me, the GPS told me to stop here. And there's darkness and a field. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, what is going on? And I had to keep calling people, like, where am I going? And they're like,
Hmm.
look for a sign, like look for this specific thing in the dark. And I'm going, so I'm doing UEs in the
Yep.
dark. And I finally found this sign that was this big. I'm not joking. It was like this. It was an 8x10 paper.
Oh my
And so,
gosh.
yeah, yeah. And I pull in and it was security and Pete. And I was like, what kind of film is this? What kind of indie film is this? This is crazy. And they were like, I had to go through these stages of security. I don't think Brian said all that, but but I still had no idea. So I get out and there were people walking around and I'm going to tents and it reminded me of Tent City in the military because there was just
Uh-huh.
tents and lights. And I'm like, what kind of thing is this? This is a big budget indie film. This is what this is. Wow. Okay. So I go into a tent. She's taking my name. It's cold. There are people there. Nobody's wearing makeup. You know what I mean? Everybody showed up just as is because that's how they told me. And it was horrible. And then, so we're standing in line and everything. And the people behind me are all giddy and excited and and I'm like, what the fuck? Oh, can I cuss? I don't mean to. Okay, what the wonderful is going on right now? And they're like, don't you know where you're at? And I'm like, yeah, I'm in an indie film. I'm like so blasé about it. I'm like, I'm background for an indie film. And they're like, no, you're not. And they're like, and I'm like, where am I? And they're like, you're doing Fear the Walking Dead. I'm like looking around, and I'm like, no, I'm not. And they're like, yes, you are. So people were flipping out. And yeah, that's how I found out.
So you
I didn't
knew the
even
name The
know.
Walking Dead. You knew what that was, just somehow in.
Well, they were using code names.
Oh, okay.
So unless you were an already background actor who's done it before, you would know the code name.
Oh.
I never done. So I thought it was this like an indie film called such and such that I'm not going to say because that's their code name.
Yep.
So yeah, all those people were diehard background people and loved the show. So there, I was like, why is everybody so happy right now? Like,
Oh, that's
so
hilarious.
yeah. Yeah. I just showed up and I'm like, what?
So pro
What?
tip, just audition for everything because you don't know if it's
Yeah. I just needed money, honestly. I just showed up because they were paying.
yeah. I mean, it's always great
Yeah.
when they do because
Yeah.
there's plenty of
There's a lot.
projects that don't.
Yeah. I can't remember the casting agency, but it's a background casting agency in Austin. That's all I remember.
Huh.
But I haven't gotten anything because we all shut down. Everybody, I haven't
Right.
gotten anything. I forgot their name.
Was was that the last project you worked on?
Yeah. Well, yeah. No. Yeah, I think so. I think so. I mean, I've just been doing little things here and there.
Hmm.
I've done little indie films like Boom Boom Boom. I haven't done much because I just got back into it and I've got
Okay.
an agent. Yeah.
How did
I
you
have,
get back into acting?
it's been off and on for 12 years
Okay.
since, so it's been a while. It's just I had kids, so I got
Hmm.
out. If kids were always more important than acting.
Yes.
It sucks. And then getting back into it and then boop, getting pregnant again and I had to get back out. And then I love hearing well, anybody over 30, just forget about it. And I'm like, I didn't even get into it until I was 30. And I'm not trying to be famous. I didn't show up in Hollywood at 17,
Yeah.
so I'm not in it for that. So, I mean,
Yeah,
they
just
need
have a good
people
time
like,
and have
yeah.
fun and do something that you
Oh,
really care about.
yeah. I always loved films. So
So what
I've
was
always,
what was it your starting point when you first started acting and said, "Okay, yeah, I actually want to go do this." Where were you in life and were you in Texas at the
ah,
time? What was
yeah, I
going
was in
on?
San Antonio. Okay, I am a gypsy. So after the military, I was lost and I didn't know what I wanted to get my degree in. And so I was bebopping around and we needed money. So I did every odd job you can possibly think of. You name it. I've been adoption counselor, assistant bookkeeper, receptionist, tour guide, um, God, waitress, bartender. I mean, if it was paying, and even if it was for 2 weeks and they fired me, I was there. I would just take whatever job there was. So I was bartending in the one job that I loved at the Holiday Inn downtown San Antonio
Hmm.
on Durango. Okay, so I was doing that, and yeah, do you know that one? Kind of.
I think
It's
I
not the one on the
passed it.
Riverwalk.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a walk. It's like it's on Durango, West Durango.
I'm sure I
So
passed
I'm
it
bar.
in a pub run or something.
Yeah, yeah, it's still there because I went in it recently, like about a year and something ago. It changed a little bit. So I'm in there and I'm bartending and miserable. I hated myself. I was mean to customers because I was mad at, I was angry. So
Yeah.
I wasn't angry with I wasn't angry with all customers, but the ones that deserved it, I was angry. And some people didn't deserve it, but I was just mad at the world because I
Yeah.
didn't know where I was supposed to be. So then I'm like, I should do stand up. I should try it because I like making people laugh. I'll just do stand up. So I'll come up with a routine and then do amateur night downtown.
Yep.
So I started writing stuff and I wouldn't tell my clientele because these are rotating businessmen, tourists, and you know what I mean? Like nobody's really the same.
Yeah.
So I'm working my skits out on people, but not telling them what I was doing. And anytime people didn't laugh, I'd be like, okay, that's off. You know what I mean? Mentally, I'm like, that's not working. So I did this for like a year and I just didn't have the balls to do the stand up, but I was working out what was working, what wasn't. And
Hmm.
over time, I would have different people going, you are super funny. You should get into acting. I'm like, oh God, no. Are you kidding me? No, no. I do not want. And so this happened several times over a year. And so finally, I'm like, I feel like the universe is trying to tell me something that maybe I should try acting. And I went, if one more person tells me I should go into acting, I'm going to pursue it. Now, this is the weird part, and people don't believe me, but this really, 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 really happened. I'm bartending. Okay, I got there in the afternoon about 3 or 4. I'm pulling up the alcohol thing, getting the doors and getting everything ready. And this really old man in a suit comes in. Like he was in his 80s. He was really old. And normally I'm like, no, come back at opening time. But if I'm in a good mood, I'm like, sure, I'll go ahead. And he just wanted a beer. So I love old people. I think they're adorable. So I'm like, I gave him a beer. I gave him like a Bud or a Bud Light. So I give it to him, and we weren't even talking about anything. We weren't talking about acting, talking about anything. I was just like, I don't even know, it was small chit chat, like weather. I mean, it wasn't anything major. And I turned around, getting my alcohol up, and I had my back to him, and out of nowhere, he goes, you should get to act. Uh-oh, you froze. Did you hear that?
Yeah, he told you should back into
You
acting.
froze for a moment. Yeah, and I wasn't even doing just talking weather. You know what I mean? So I thought,
So
and I was
totally
like,
out of the blue.
yeah, and I went, that's really, I froze. I went, that's really weird. You know what's weird is I always said if one more person told me, and I turned around and he was gone. His beer was there and he vanished. I looked around, the room was too big. He was too old to leave that fast.
Yeah.
And he was gone.
Was the beer still there?
And I got, yeah, the beer was still there. And because I was like,
the beer drank, or it was like still at the top and he never drank from it?
Yeah, it was still full. I mean, he might have had a couple sips from it, but I mean, it was still a full cold beer. And I went, and there was nobody around. My coworkers weren't there. Right? And I got goosebumps. And I'm like, I don't know how he left that fast. And I was like, I wasn't even doing my skit. Yeah. Usually people would tell me that as I was working my funny stuff on them. But I went, all right, God. I went in the bar. I was like, all right, God, I got it. I'm going to take up an acting class. I'm going to try it out. And then we ended up moving, and I took an acting course in the college up in Ohio. And as soon as I hit the stage, because the first acting class was in one of their stages, and as soon as I saw the lights, the smells, and everything, I went, I'm home. Oh my God! Like this is where it's supposed to be. Yeah. So yeah, it's one of those weird moments. I know people are like, "What?" And I'm like, "I'm telling you, it really, honest to God, happened."
Wow, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm. That's why I'm like, I swear it was an angel. Like people talk about angels rescuing them or whatever, but he was as real as. I mean, I never doubted that he wasn't a person at all. Just a little old man in a gray suit, the white hair. That
would make a great Touched by an Angel episode. If you remember that from the 90s or whenever that was going on.
I do. But what would be the point? Oh, actor. Okay, we're going to send this old man in there.
So you went from San Antonio up to Ohio. You started training. Did you ever use that material that you built or you worked on it for a year? Did you ever get on a stage and do stand-up?
I didn't, because at the time I was like, you know what? As a joke, I was like, I'm too much of a chicken to bomb on my own. So if I bomb on stage, that'll be my joke. Like, it wasn't my fault I bombed. But when you're on stage doing stand-up, it's your fault.
Yeah, it's like uniquely isolating, in a way that, no, it really is all on you. You got the lights and just literally whoever's there, and you just look out into the abyss because the lights are so notice people.
I probably should, but I've met people who were just crew members on films that went, yeah, I did stand up one night, and I'm like, my God, they did it, and I still haven't done it. I haven't.
It's like a great experiment in rejection. I twice, and the first time I ever did it.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was actually out in Utah at the time, and a restaurant would have.
Oh my God, I lived out in Utah.
Oh really? What? So I was in George.
Where were you?
Southwest corner.
I was in
St. George?
Layton. I was in Layton near Ix City.
Okay. I never
Right
got
below Ogden. Yeah.
north than Salt Lake, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Between Ogden and Salt Lake
Gotcha.
City. So I'm at St. George.
Yeah, so that
Yeah.
southwest corner. And I did make trips up to
Okay.
Salt Lake, but I never went
Uh-huh.
any further north than Salt Lake and Park City. But yeah, that's really cool. It's beautiful out there.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So you were doing comedy out there?
Well, there was a restaurant that friends and I would go to, and on Wednesday nights they'd have open sing, they'd do stand up, they would do, read poetry, they would do whatever. What was but I thought this would be a good.
You stopped.
Am I back now?
You stopped for a moment. You went. Yeah, you're back now.
Okay.
You're good. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So at some point I thought this would be something really uncomfortable to do for me, but that was the point.
Mm-hmm.
It was to do something uncomfortable, and
mm-hmm.
just like an experiment with myself, right? Like I'm gonna try, but I'm not expecting. I'm just gonna wow the whole room. Like I'm not expecting it. It was, just a deliberate choice to like go. And
yeah, that's brave. That is really brave. Did you know what you were going to say before you got up there?
Yes, I did have a little bit of material, but it wasn't anywhere near as rehearsed, or it wasn't as worked through, like what you were describing with all of the clientele. That sounds like a fantastic way to make. That's like the opportunity in that situation, that you're getting people all the time to just constantly be testing without having to be on the stage. Because otherwise,
it's like I did stand up without the fear of rejection.
The stage. Yeah.
But
doing something like that sounds like a fantastic way to work material, to create material, because that's out of listening to comics talk about their process. That seems to be the number one thing, right? Is just you go to the open mics every single night so that you can keep testing, and building material, which that's what you were doing. So mine was nowhere near as worked through to do it, but I did try to rehearse on my own, write, a little bit here and there, and I would have it practice it. I did have, I'm not just gonna stand up here and hog my time. So if I probably gave each person like 10 minutes. If I had 5 minutes of stuff, then I'm just gonna cut it at 5 and not like try to think of something on the spot. It's like, no, I'll say what I came to say, hope that it works. I'm gonna try, but then as soon as I'm done, I'll thank you all and then be done. And that's what I did. And of course, no one laughed. So
no.
But
no, really?
Yeah.
But you know what? That's the worst case scenario, and you lived.
Right.
And
so that was the whole. I'm gonna actually try. I'm not getting on stage just to get on stage and not say anything. I'm gonna actually try. And yet I'm expecting to fail, but I'm gonna go do it anyways, because that's the point. Is for me just to go do something that's uncomfortable and push myself. So I've done it twice.
Yeah.
Then that's it.
Awesome. Well, that's even more brave. You didn't get laughs the first time, and you did again anyway. You're like, I'm going to do it.
Yeah. So the second time was back in San Antonio, and I got a few chuckles. So that was improvement. There was improvement there. And
that was validation.
Yeah.
That was success. Is what that was. You came back and got a couple chuckles.
Yep.
Yeah, I think mine was just to get me to acting. I think the whole point of me wanting to be stand-up was to be heard, to be seen, for those people to say that to me, to make me think about acting, to get me there. It was like steps that I didn't even know I needed to take.
Yeah.
You know, if I didn't do all that, nobody would have pointed me in the direction.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of in San Antonio, where my observed and then talking to other people, out of any of the cities in Texas, any of the major cities in Texas, San Antonio seems to have the least as far as like film stuff. That I'm not entirely sure how true that is, but that's what I've been told.
Well, from what I'm seeing as far as casting in this area, I would say yeah.
Yeah. But so doing like what you did, you don't have to have film projects like that. You could even if it's just on an individual basis, you're still performing with all the people that you're talking to. So that's, I think that's really cool that you did that. So once you got to Ohio and you started taking classes, what was the first project that you got to be in or be a part of?
Theater, or because it'd be more theater was just, you had to do a couple plays in order to graduate. You know, you had to be
Gotcha.
But I had my daughter by that point, and she was 2. So I couldn't do that. I felt bad because I'm the oldest one there. I could have been technically their babysitters when they were younger. I felt like their mom more than their so I was like, so half the people probably didn't even like me because I was too old, so they couldn't hang with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You weren't going to go grab drinks with everyone after rehearsal. You're going to be like, no, I'm going home to cook dinner.
Yeah. So, it's like, oh, she's the one with the baby and the husband, and So it was kind of sad because they got to be in any play they wanted, as long as they worked around their job or whatever. But I was like, I have to at least be in 2. So I had to somehow manage to be in 2 to graduate, which I wish I would have done more because I wasn't really good at theater because the fear of being on stage, I would, the first time I forgot my line. Here's the thing. I think my professor, he knew me. He knew I wasn't very good yet. I wasn't like, we can't give her too many lines because she's going to forget. But we're going to make her comedic relief because she's really good at being goofy. I mean, I don't. So I always got before him, I always got the comedic relief character. So I'm doing great. Okay. Everything's going good. I fell off the stage a couple times during rehearsal just because I'm a klutz. You know, just because I'm like, I'm all right. Hand came up. I'm okay.
Yep.
But I was fine for what the shows. And then my best friend and my husband showed up one night, and I wished I didn't know they were out there because I think it psyched me out. I had like 10 lines, and all of a sudden I'm in the middle of the line. All of a sudden I went, and I just stared, and I couldn't. Yeah, brain fart. I think it was just knowing that they were out there psyched me out. It was a good lesson for me. I mean, thank God the girl behind me, she was done it enough where she just jumped in, and took her line, but it was awkward. I felt horrible. I'm backstage going, oh my God, I had like 10 lines, and I couldn't remember. I was apologizing, but my friend was like, I didn't even know. I thought that was part of the character, the way you just stopped and looked around. Because I thought that was all part of it. My husband's like, I knew, but that's because I heard you rehearse all your lines. I knew you were missing some.
Yep.
So, yeah. But films I did for the film students, did little pieces.
Okay.
Because they have to do their own little 5-minute films or whatever. So that's where I got to practice doing film.
Okay.
And then after graduation, I got an agent down in Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah.
And I was doing commercials and industrials, and it just like I did commercials like in West Virginia. I did one in West Virginia. I had to drive down there, stay in a hotel, and then I did a couple films there. Like I was saying to you before, like I think here it's more films. It's more films and it's some commercial work, but I haven't seen that much commercial. I mean, maybe some, but up there, I was like, my bread and butter was like commercials. I was making like, yeah, that's where I was making big bucks, was commercials when I would get them.
Was that just like a one-time payout? Or I've heard some commercials, like depending how long they run them, sometimes you get residual pay.
Yeah, it was a one-time payout. I think national, as far as I know.
Okay.
And I was just building up the networking too. I was just building up networking and knowing people and everything, and then we moved. And we moved to Utah.
Oh, really?
So and I tried to get in acting in Salt Lake City, which they did. They had some film and stuff, but then we ended up moving to Idaho. Like within the year, we went to Idaho, and then from Idaho we came here. So I'm done. This is it. We're staying. Yeah. So
do you mind me asking if your husband was in the military? Yeah.
Both were. Yeah. A helicopter mechanic.
Oh, right on.
Uh-oh. We cut out.
Right on. That's super cool.
Yeah.
That he gets to work on helicopters. That actually sounds like fun.
Yeah. Yeah, he works for the Austin PD. So
nice. Well, at least Austin or around Austin.
Yeah.
Because arguably
he's from San Antonio, so he's like, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So we met in California. So it was neutral territory.
As far as markets, from what I've heard, Austin seems to be more film, and then Dallas seems to be more commercials.
I could see that.
Is what I've heard.
Yeah, I could see that. I've seen film for Dallas and Houston.
Okay.
So.
And who's working out of Houston, I'm really curious because there's a lot of business, and the reason I've heard that Dallas, there's a lot of corporate up there.
Yeah.
If they're Houston, especially for commercials, then I just haven't heard about big businesses out there too. Oil and gas, but I'm still curious to find out.
Yeah, I don't know that much about Houston.
So what?
Yeah, I don't know. I've seen mainly Dallas.
What other projects have you worked on since you got to Austin, or the Austin area?
I think mainly, the Fear, but I mean, it was just mainly little pieces of films. Just some are for. See, there's the thing. I'm sorry, and I feel horrible because it's good training, and that's the point. Really, experience, Right. But I did it for free because I'm like, I haven't worked in a while, and I need some demo reels. I need something to showcase me, and then. Even though you should copy for your demo reel, I would half it to you. So it's like you get 50 shot. So even though, if they don't pay you,
you should at least get.
I don't. Demo, but that's everywhere. It's not just here. It's everywhere I've ever worked. Like you got 50 shot of getting a copy of the work. So. But I'm like, I can't fork over time to do things for free.
Right.
Yeah. I feel bad because I've been to a few different film meetings, and they were talking about that, working for free and stuff like that.
Was there any sort of consensus on that from those meetings?
Of working for free? Just some women, I think some people, not women, a couple more women, but were more like, well, we understand, but we still, we help each other, and we, get, for them, it was like, we help each other and we get films made. And I'm like, that's especially for newbie actors. It's great. It was great for me starting out. I didn't care if I got paid. I just wanted to learn, but when you've been doing it and you're like, I feel like I'm worth something. I think I'm worth a couple bucks, like something.
Yeah.
Throw me a bone, So, yeah.
Was there a particular point at which you realized I should start getting paid. I've put in enough that I feel like I should start getting paid, because that's a very personal thing from each person to finally make that call for themselves on, okay, next thing that comes up, I feel like I need to ask or be willing to walk away if I don't get something, and then how much. It's always can be a very nebulous thing. So I'm curious, was there a particular time that you realized like I should, and what were the?
I think it's just here, just because I've been alive so long. I mean, once I got here, I'm like, I've been acting all over and everything. And I think for a lot of actors, for me, in the beginning, you don't even want to tell people you're an actor because you don't feel like an actor, or at least I didn't. So when people would say, "What do you do?" I'd go, "I'm nothing," because I didn't feel like I could say I was an actor. But somewhere along the line, I'm like, or heard it somewhere, but I'm like, no, I'm an actor.
Mm-hmm.
And that, you know what I mean? And so that's probably Salt Lake City. I started really going, I'm an actor. My short film screenplay, first one in Ohio. So that's, I'm like, no, this is, so it's like over time. But by the time I hit here, I'm like, no, I'm worth money, and I'm only going to do it for money,
Yeah.
I mean, it sucks being an actor. They want you to, you have to give over all this money and all this time, and you know what I mean? And you make nothing. And everybody wants you to work for free. Well, we're feeding you. You're getting on film. And I'm like, it's my time. It's my,
right.
I went to school. I got a BA for it. I should at least get some sort of money, for it.
Did you see any real difference from from all the places you've acted before, and here too in Texas? Do you notice any major distinctions between any of those markets? Were some of them more willing to pay versus others, or is it kind of the same in your experience?
I think it's about I think it's about the same. I mean, I got paid. I think it's about the same. You just got to look for the ones. Just don't settle for the non-paying ones, because there's students in every place that they can't pay, and that's great for people who want to get into acting. So they don't. I think that's fair trade.
Yeah, experience for time.
Yeah, and then there are ones that will pay. So,
and of course, doing commercials, the commercials always pay.
Oh yeah. Especially if I went through my agent.
Yeah. So did you have a preference? Was there any one commercial you did that you really enjoyed doing?
I mean, just these group of guys. There were just a bunch of guys, and they were awesome. In fact, one guy stole my Facebook page. They were fun. They made the whole set fun. Like, I just enjoyed being goofy with them. But the other commercial I liked doing, because it was so big, and this director was, I guess, a kind of a name, but he was also a huge dick. He was a complete asshole. I don't even know if I can talk about this, but I mean, he had name, and he did stuff, and he's still out there, but sexual harassment, not me. I wasn't his type, but the younger actresses. I mean, I know somebody I might get in trouble, but oh well. I'm not naming him, but I mean, I watched him use his director power on the young girls, which, but I mean, I know who used to follow him, but now I don't follow him anymore. But when the Harvey thing happened, I began with that stuff. So, and at the time, I should have been like pulling the girls over, like, no. But I kind of watched it and stayed out of it. And now I feel like I should have, but I don't even know if they would have listened to me anyway, because they wanted that attention. They wanted to be, it was like it's that in the industry, like Power.
Yeah.
And girls that want to be in a film or in a commercial, or,
Yeah. It's attaching yourself to the right people so that when they have other projects, they think of you, and like You make it's because there's many different things that go into building a relationship and leaving a positive impression. I mean, obviously that can be abused, but the incentive to please someone who you know can give you further opportunities, like that can be a very real draw.
Yeah. So I witnessed them, like, if I'm singing in Ohio, I can't fathom what they were going through in Hollywood and stuff. So that didn't surprise me at all.
In case there's any girls, young women who are listening to this right now, or who will listen, what would you say to them? What do you wish you would have told those girls at the time, if you still could?
I don't need thought about that. I don't probably to talk. There's nothing wrong with talking with them and schmoozing with them, but don't ever take it past. It's kind of bartending. You schmooze. You work the customer, but you don't go home, even though they think you're going home with them. But they know that's why you're there. Though some think that you're also a prostitute. But but I mean, same with the actresses. You can schmooze. You can play the game, but that you don't follow through. I mean, I don't know. Some women are completely fine with that. See, I can't say, because there are some women that are fine with that. Like, hey, I don't mind sleeping with this person if it gets me somewhere. More power to you, but I feel like, the ones that don't want to shouldn't have to for a role.
Right.
Or there's nothing like that. I mean, but you're fine with it, then use it. I mean, I think Marilyn Amos, she didn't have any problem. She used her, but I mean, what else did you have back then, really? I mean, they didn't have any power. It was kind of like, you have to sleep with this person to get this part. You have to, but she was known for sleeping with people to get parts. Love Marilyn Monroe. So
but
I don't think they had any power.
So being conscientious that you have a choice, that you shouldn't be coerced into doing anything that you're not, willing as an adult, especially as an adult, younger.
And I would think too, because I had a lot of sexual harassment in the military, I feel like writing down everything, date, time, who was there, who was on set, who were your witnesses, because you never know when it'd be needed. And you already got the date and time, who was on set, you know what I mean? Who was, you don't know if it's needed or not, but it did come in handy. So they didn't know I was keeping tabs on them and then I had like a book, like,
damn,
of this bit. Yeah. So, keep it to yourself. Don't tell people you're keeping a book, because you don't want, you know what I mean? If they're going to keep doing it, have as much document you can possibly have in your favor. Yeah.
Paperwork can be a killer. Having it all written down.
Yeah, I learned that the hard way. But my husband gave me that tip because we were married at the time. Yeah, we were dating and married, and he saw all that. So he was like, you need to write, because he was in ROTC. So he's like, you need to write down everything. You need to keep tabs of everything. So a lot of my advice actually came from a man. So tell me what to do to protect myself. So, yeah.
That's good. So when you told your husband you wanted to get into acting, was he all on board?
Probably not. He's like, not one more weird thing. Can't possibly not one more weird thing to do, because I'm so flighty. And he's like, he's probably thinking, just pick something that makes money. You know what I mean? Like, he's always trying to push me into pharmacy, do something medical, be a physical therapist, do something, that makes money, so he's had to carry me while I'm being me, trying to find myself. I'm like Peter Pan. I'm like a kid trying to figure out who I am and what I'm going to do. I know I'm like, don't die because I'm screwed. I don't have anything to fall back on. So.
I'm curious, with everything that's been going on now, have you done,
Mm-hmm.
I remember probably 2-3 weeks ago, it's been a little while, I saw someone was releasing an app that was designed for doing auditions remotely, like to make it more convenient for everyone, right? And I haven't followed
Mm-hmm.
up since the outbreak of
Oh,
COVID, but I'm curious whether or not, in your experience, you have any
oh my gosh, yeah.
misgivings or any preference. Have you done any like remote auditions? And if so, what are your
Yeah.
thoughts on those?
Remote auditions have been going on for like at least 10 years or something. I was doing them in Ohio. I
Okay.
mean, they started a while ago. I was, shoot, when it had to have been like close to 10 years ago. Yeah, I like them because I don't have to go anywhere and I had a kid. So the camera and stop, and she was just, my only problem is I never had a reader. Yeah, she'd go, cut, but
Oh.
I never had a reader. And I think that hindered me. They
Yeah.
didn't have and so I would sit there and say my lines, pretending there was something. I think that was working against me
Hmm.
because they wanted, but now she's my reader. She'll read the scenes with me and everything. But I kind of like it because one time when I thought I wasn't doing them right, I drove an hour and a half to my agent
Hmm.
to do one there. And it was exactly how I filmed it at home. I mean, it wasn't any different. I had the same setup with the camera and a background. The only thing is, I had a reader because the agent read with me and he gave me some advice. But it was about the same. I think I actually enjoy I enjoy being there because I get to meet people and the
Yes.
chemistry. And they get to learn things about me that they couldn't from a tape. But I also like the tape too. It's just convenient. But either way, like I wouldn't mind first round being a videotape and
Hmm.
then second round in person or something like that, because they may just look at you and go, no, she's not right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She's not fitting it. Just stop. So I'd rather know that in a video. Like, no, she's not fitting it. But if I made it to round two, then at least they know they're interested. So if I don't get it, I don't get it. But
Right.
we get to meet each other, and learn things. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think everybody's going to, even before the pandemic, I think it's been going that way. Now it just sped up.
Yeah. Because I had seen, similarly, I'd seen a couple pop up here and there. It just
Mm-hmm.
seemed like that wasn't yet the norm. And then I
Oh,
saw this, maybe that was that. And again, was in San
yeah.
Antonio where there's less going on.
Yeah.
So I only have that perspective and
Oh, okay. Yeah.
not of the broader ends. But then I saw like, oh, someone spent the time to build a dedicated app specifically for this. So that's
That's
like a step
cool.
forward there. And then
Mm-hmm.
with everything going on, yeah, I mean, it's like, what are you going to do? I mean, if you just have
Yeah.
one person in a room at a time, depending on what the project is, then you could still do that. But yeah, I wasn't sure if that, how much of a norm that already was, and whether or not this was making it a norm, and what your perspective on that might be.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. In fact, there's a lot of big budget Hollywood films that have cast from video auditions from people. I can't remember any right now, but I'm always reading on trivia and films and stuff because I just love films.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I forgot who it was. There was a girl that she got the part just purely from a video upload. She was TV cat. Yeah. So I just, yeah, I don't see a problem with it. I just think it's easier. I think it's a new way. I mean, we're going so technical anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so much easier, I think. If the perfect person is in Ohio or wherever, and you're any other way. I mean, in a way, it's kind of bad. It's good and bad because then you're going up against more people, so they have a better chance of finding you and better than you. But you might have a better shot of getting something that you wouldn't have. So
yeah, it kind of levels the playing field, and I mean, no matter where you are, you would always have to drive typically downtown. But I wonder if for a place like Texas, where I don't think people realize how big Texas is until they get here. And then they're like, oh yeah, I'll just go from Dallas to Houston. And if you're from somewhere else, you're like, dude, I would have passed 3 states. I would have driven through 3 states already in the time it took me to get from one city to the next here in Texas. So we have this.
Wait, how far is it? How far is it from Dallas to Houston? From here, it's like 2.5 hours to Dallas, I think.
About 3.5, because it's
3.5.
Yeah, so Dallas to San Antonio is typically about a 5-hour drive, depending, because you take 35. Of course, anyone who's, especially in Austin, it's the traffic. But then even north of Austin, there's so much construction.